So I wanted to use this comment to reply to because I think I can really highlight how the Marine Corps doesn't prioritize victim safety when it comes to these things, because my ex-husband had no idea that he had been reported. He knew he had been caught by me because I was really stupid and I called him and I demanded that he tell me why he did this and if he had ever hurt our children. No, I didn't call him planning to not report him if he gave me the right answer. I called him because as a mom I felt like I had to know, and I knew this was something that like investigators weren't going to be able to it wasn't questions they were going to think to ask him. I needed to know why. I needed to know why he did it, and I think I needed to know why because I felt so much guilt for not knowing what he had become. And so he was aware that I knew, but he thought I was too much of a doormat to report him. So he was unaware that he had been reported until NCIS literally picked him up at the gate at the airport when he flew back to California. He had been in New York for a wedding, and so he flies back and there's NCIS ready to handcuff him. Now, the part that I want to talk about, though, is NCIS had brought me back to their interrogation area, their interview, which was really more like an interrogation, and they wanted to know his flight information. Now, the way they wanted me to find out his flight information is they wanted me to text him and ask him, and I kept telling them if I ask him for that, he's gonna know. And at this point in time, they wanted him to come back to our house and then have me call them and they'd come arrest him. And I was like, if you do that, he's going to unalive us. He's already stated that's what's going to happen when he gets home just for me getting on his computer. Like, he's going to hurt us and you won't get there in time. And they just were not getting that through their heads. And so I didn't want to call him, so I tried to just access his email, and he immediately got an alert on his phone, and he texted me and said, "What are you doing?" And I told him, "I just want to know your flight information so I know when you're going to be home." And he replied with, "What, so you can call the police and tell them?" So he was somewhat aware, I feel like, but I think he just still really thought that I was too much of a doormat to ever report him. And so after that, I panicked and I turned to my victim's advocate and I basically told her, he's going to unalive us. They're going to let him harm us. It's going to be too late. And she said, no, I'm not going to let them do this to you. And so she told them, absolutely not. She is not going to wait at home and be bait for you. And that is when they changed their plan and decided that they would arrest him at the airport. But they really didn't want to. And I really want to highlight that they've done this to many victims in the past, and some of those victims didn't survive. It's a big problem. And I really think they need to reassess how they handle victims, because this not taking care of victims continued throughout the investigation. And then after, I never got a call that he was released from the brig. I found that out through my lawyer because we were trying to serve him papers. And then just recently when NCIS called me and wanted me to contact him, the man I have a restraining order against, the man who has no idea where I live, they wanted me to contact him so that they could return his computer to him because they'd wiped it so he could have it back. Obviously I said, no, I'm not helping you. And in the end, they let me sign to have the laptop and computer destroyed. But it just blows my mind that they want victims to help them with things that we shouldn't be expected to help with. It's not my job.